Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and welcome back to the best games of 2017. In this particular list, we're going to be talking about the top 10 best games of 2017, and I'm going to be ranking them from 1 to 10. Now, obviously, I think it is important to mention that this is my personal list. You already know all of the games that are going to be featured in this list because I've been releasing individual videos for every single one of them, so that the intent is I'm going to try to do the whole YouTube cards thing where you'll be able to click like the thing on the top, one of these top corners, and you'll be able to click there and you should have like a drop down list of all of the games that I will be talking about here, so that if you want to get a little bit more detail into why I personally liked a specific game, you can go ahead and check that out without me actually blathering on for like 5 or 10 minutes in this video, because that would just make this video be way too long. Now, it is also important to mention that this is a biased list. Like I've always said, anyone who tells you they are completely unbiased is either A, a robot, or B, completely lying, because everyone is biased in some form. Everyone has experienced things in life which have kind of created this person, this self that you are, and that self of yours is biased towards certain things. Just like how I am extremely biased towards Souls-like games and Monster Hunter games, even though I also like a lot of other types of video games. I do have a specific bias towards that kind of thing, and other people might have more bias towards shooters or whatever, you know? So it is going to vary depending on who you are, okay? And this basically applies to everything. Any other list that you see on the internet, any review that you see on the internet, anything that you see on the internet is biased in some form or another, okay? Just keep that in mind. Basically what that means is you don't have to agree with my choices. I'm just telling you these are my choices. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Coming in at number 10, we have ARMS. That's right, I put ARMS on my top 10 best games of 2017, and I don't care what people are going to say about that, because I know that several people are like, oh, ARMS, this, that, whatever. I've discussed this at length on my other videos, so if you guys want to know why ARMS is in here, you can go check that. But to me, it's just a real big innovation when it comes to the fighting genre, and it lands at number 10 because the fighting genre is not something that I personally tend to dedicate a whole lot of time to, so that's why ARMS is at number 10, but without a doubt, one of the best games that we've played this year. So there you go. Now, coming in at number 9, we have Divinity Original Sin 2. That's right, it only took me a couple of hours to put this bad boy on my list of best games of 2017 on sheer potential alone. I feel this game has a lot of potential, even though it is, again, one of those genres that I don't tend to dedicate a lot of time to, but I still really enjoyed the time that I spent with Divinity Original Sin 2, and I just had to include it on my list. Moving onwards. Number 8 is
Flames will play against the sky, the heavens and earth, and all the world will be burned, all the gods will be dead, and the warriors of Valhalla.
Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. I did a full playthrough of this on my Twitch channel where I played and you guys got to watch me play through it. I thought the gameplay premise was fantastic. I thought the game itself was pretty cool, and on top of it, they also managed to do the whole thing where they sold this game for like $30. Just blew my mind, but the price tag is not even what's in point here. It is the quality of the experience that this game provides to you. It is just a super solid game, super solid story. I personally had a blast with it, and I would advise anyone that hasn't checked it out to check it out. Like I said, there are videos of every single title that I'm talking about here. You guys should check it out if you are curious about Hellblade, but good guy. I was really surprised by this one. Moving onwards, number 7. Neal. That's right, Team Ninja managed to do something really unique with Neal, and that's how it makes its way onto my list of the best games of 2017. I really enjoyed my time with the game, even if I got burned out on that second DLC because of specific mechanics that don't gel particularly well with me, but my experience with the base game and the first DLC was enough that I can wholeheartedly recommend this game, particularly to all of you guys out there that love the Souls-like genre, so to speak, or the Soulsborne, however the hell you want to call it. For those of you that love those kinds of games, you're going to love Neal. It is a fantastic title, and I know that I was somewhat hesitant with the beta, but they completely changed it around with the final version of the game, much more polished with a lot of better things introduced, and I was super surprised by how well it actually ended up playing after having played the beta and not really enjoying it that much. So yeah, Neal makes it on to number 7. I guess some of you guys expected it to be a little bit higher, but to be completely honest, the competition was pretty damn fierce this year. Let's be honest about that. But moving on, number 6. Persona 5. That's right, Persona 5 was hands down one of the best games we've had this year. I mean, it even made it onto the Game Awards nominees to Game of the Year, which was really surprising for me. I was like, wow, you actually nominated Persona 5? This is just mind blown. So I love the game. I haven't finished yet. I'm still 50 hours in. I have to play a whole lot more of it. I've heard the game runs up until like 100 hours or so. But it has been a fantastic experience through and through. The story is fantastic, the artwork is fantastic, the soundtrack's fantastic. Everything about Persona is fantastic, like I said. And now you guys are wondering, so why is it only at number 6? Well, besides the fact that there is a lot of competition this year, like I said, one of the best years in gaming, there's also the fact that Persona 5 doesn't really innovate as much on the formula as I'd like. Sure, it brings a couple of new things. It brings it brings new art style, brings a couple of new mechanics here and there. But ultimately, if you've played Persona 4 Golden and you've played Persona 5, you know, it's like it doesn't change. Sure, it's a new story, it's new characters, new things, everything is new, so to speak. But it's like the gameplay and the kind of like the flow of the game is very much the same as Persona 4. And I really wanted them to kind of like do more, you know? I really do value innovation a lot when it comes to the best titles, and Persona 5 just didn't innovate as much as I would like. It's still a fantastic game, but it lands number 6 because it didn't innovate as much as I would like. And speaking of innovation, coming in at number 5. Horizon Zero Dawn. Talk about a success story from Guerrilla Games jumping ship from the Killzone franchise into something that is completely different and completely new and pretty much nailing it on their first try. Like, this game has one of the best stories that I've experienced this year. It has some of the best gameplay that I've seen in open world games for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I've even compared some of the fights that you have with some of these machines to Monster Hunter. And it has just been a fantastic game all around. Now, it lands number 5 because there's one thing that I didn't like that much about Horizon Zero Dawn, and that is the fact that it uses the tried and true method of the Ubisoft game, so to speak, which is, hey, here's a map, I marked up all of the things that you can do on this map, now go and do them. And that's just kind of a big turnoff to me. It's like, oh look, everything that you can possibly do is on this map. And I'm just like, you know, and this is particularly a year where another game completely broke that mold, and we'll get to that game a little bit further on. I know that you guys already know what game that is, but yeah, we're still gonna keep going up the list. Coming in at number 4. Super Mario Odyssey. Never expected that game to make it onto my top 10 list. First time I heard about it, I was like, yeah, cool, looks like a Mario game, looks like fun, whatever, I'll try it out. After playing it and not being able to put it down and always wanting to come back to it and play it some more, I was just like, I don't understand. And ultimately, the reason Super Mario Odyssey makes it so high up into my list of the best games of 2017 is the simple fact that it's so much fun. This game is basically fun in a box. It's just like, here's the concept of fun in a video game. It's Super Mario Odyssey, and it blew my mind. Moving on, number 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is when we get to that part where I told you guys at the start of this video that this list is very much biased to my own personal taste, because I know that for a lot of people, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would not make it onto their top 3 games of 2017. Well, it makes it in my book, and the main reason why it does that isn't even out of sheer innovation. Even though it does innovate on a lot of things, it does kind of break a lot of the systems that we've had in previous Xenoblade games for the better. It makes a much better game. The story itself introduces a lot of new elements and kind of manages to, you know, create this very special experience with the blades and the way that each blade works and the conflicts that exist in the world of Allrest and all of that. It manages to innovate on a lot of levels, but still hasn't innovated as much as I would like. However, the reason it makes it so high onto this list is because that story has got me by the balls. Like, legitimately, I love the story in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I know that it's going to be a unique thing. I know that a lot of people are not going to be as into the story of this game as I am, but it just feels like such a targeted experience that is not trying to appeal to a wide audience. It is trying to appeal to the fans of Xenoblade and the fans of JRPGs and the fans of this kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter that is so directed towards a specific audience makes it that much more of a really good experience. And like I said, it's taken me near to tears many times, and I do mean many times, because of the way the story is told and how each character interacts with that story and all the things that happen throughout. It just really gels with me, and that's why it makes it so high up on the list. But moving on, number 2. NieR Automata. Talk about one of the most underrated games this year. Manages to bring what is, to me, the strongest narrative that I have seen so far this year. It's just like the way the story is told, the way that everything happens in the game, as long as all of the gameplay and all of the things that happen, the way the game sometimes breaks the fourth wall, the way the game does everything that it does, it just constantly blows me away. And that's all I can say without really getting into spoiler territory. Basically, NieR Automata is a must-have experience this year. If you still haven't played NieR Automata, you should, because hands down, one of the best games this year, and really, really tied with number 1, like very, very closely. Number 1 manages to jump above it, but just by very little, if I'm to be completely honest. But NieR Automata, just such a good game. And coming in at number 1 for best game of 2017.
Wake up, Link.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yep, it made it all the way to the top. And in one of the hardest years in gaming, one of the hardest years possible ever in video games that I've had, this game managed to climb all the way up into the top, and for very good reason. It completely breaks the mold on open world gaming, and it is a mold that pretty much everyone and their goddamn mothers is following nowadays. Everybody wants to make an open world game, and in comes Nintendo, and they're like, here, let us show you how this shit is done, okay? Here's how you do an open world game without following the Ubisoft route of like, here's all these things in your map, here's all the activities you can do. No, the key word to experiencing this video game is organic. Everything is organic, the way it happens, the way you experience Link's adventure. Just about everything in this game has been fantastic. If there is one thing that I would say that is a chink in the Legend of Zelda's armor, is the story. Because in my opinion, it hasn't changed that much. Like, sure, there are differences from the basic Zelda stories throughout the year. There are a lot of differences. There's the 4 heroes. There's the way that the things that Zelda does. There are lots of differences, but if you really distill the story down, it is the same story of Link going to save Zelda, essentially, and fighting Ganon, of course. Which to me, it's like, I wish they would have broke the mold just a little bit more. But then again, I haven't played the DLC yet, so I don't know like the story behind the 4 heroes and all that stuff. I still have to play the Champion's Ballad. I still have to do the Master Trials. There's still tons of stuff for me to do in that game, and I can still recognize that is hands down, to me, the most important experience that happened this year. But like I said, you guys, this is my personal list. You don't necessarily have to agree with it, and pretty much every game on this list is just so close to each other that ordering this list was such a tough, I don't want to say job. It was just tough for me because it's just, I kept changing the order. Even like last week, I changed a couple of games around because it's that hard. My opinions are constantly like, oh dude, maybe this game deserves just a little bit more. One of the games on this list actually climbed like 5 positions last week. Yes, it's been that hard. But anyway, you guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, for those of you that celebrate Christmas. For those of you that do not celebrate Christmas, I want to wish you all happy holidays, whatever you happen to celebrate. And remember, spend time with your family, all of that stuff. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. The things that you agree with, the things that you disagree with. I'll be very glad to engage in the discussion with you guys like I do in all of my videos. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.